report. Well, well, well. It is what you've
Well,
been
well,
waiting
well.
for. It is time for our resident number one Habs fan to bring us up to date on the postseason quest for Lord Stanley's Cup, minus his Habs, unfortunately. First, here's a question for you, our viewers. Which team looks most dangerous right now, and who do you want to see hoist the cup? Take it away, Eddie.
Well, 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 well. The Toronto Maple Leafs have actually made it to the next round. Can I hear the applause, Gary? There we go. Happy
Oh,
man there.
wait,
Yes.
wait, 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 wait. I can do
Oh,
better than that.
oh. Yeah, you know what? Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not a Leaf fan, but I told you on the onset I was hoping the Leafs would make it out of the first round, and I'm really happy they did it. And what did I say was the formula for the Toronto Maple Leafs? The core four had to show up. Typically, when the big boys came out to play, the core four typically disappeared. Just to give you an idea, last year compared to this year, the core four showed up. This year, the core four being Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and John Tavares, they've actually scored 33 points amongst them in the first 7 games. So that allowed them to advance to the next round, and they're playing against Florida tonight. Last year, after being bounced out in the first round, they only had 12 points combined amongst them. So they finally came out to play with the big boys. Good for them, guys. You finally woke up. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in the second round. So that's really great to hear that the core four are finally producing after the last 5-6 years, Gary, and they continued their rebuilding strategies since 1967. So at least they're keeping you happy.
I
So
mean, that's
congratulations.
I have one thing to say to that. Actually, not say, but I have one thing to go with that. Are you
Was
ready?
that? Yeah. Holy crap! You've been preparing for tonight's show, haven't you? Yeah. So you know what? Great for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They beat Ottawa in 6 games. Congratulations. And Ottawa Senators is another rebuilding team. They made it to the playoffs this year again. Congrats to them for a good season. And then there is my Montreal Canadiens, the Habs. Yeah, they lost in 5 games against Washington, as expected. As I mentioned before, the Habs management said in year 3 of the rebuilding that they were hoping to be in the mix. Well, the kids, they surpassed expectation. Not only were they in the mix, they made it to the playoffs, and they actually played with dignity. They did not get blown out. They played hard. Great learning experience for the young players. And the beautiful thing about the Habs, they have a core six, and the core six are all under 24 years of age, 23, 24 years of age. So they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, and hopefully play Toronto in one of the playoff rounds and take care of business that way. So I guess we're going to have to wait till next year for the Montreal Canadiens, and congratulations to them.
And
Now,
and Joe says sorry about your Habs, Eddie. They gave it a valiant effort. I see good things for them given their young nucleus of players.
the core six.
Thanks, Joe.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. And Gary, as I texted to you right after it happened, the uh, the Winnipeg St. Louis game. This is why hockey is one of the greatest sports to watch during playoff time. 60 minutes of absolute mayhem with St. Louis in Game 7. St. Louis was leading Winnipeg 3-1 with a minute and 56 seconds left to go in the game. Winnipeg, with taking the goalie out, Winnipeg scores 3-2, and with 3 seconds left to go in the game, they tied it 3-3. It was an absolutely fast, spectacular game. And the game went into double overtime. What else can a hockey fan ask for? And the comeback was complete. Winnipeg scored in overtime to win that series. What a game. What a tribute to the fantastic sport of ice hockey. No other sport in the world compares to it in terms of just absolutely spectacular 60 minutes of fast-paced action. Congratulations, Winnipeg. I was really, really happy to see that. Also, in the first round, another Canadian team did something that doesn't happen very often. Edmonton played Los Angeles. They won in 6 games, so Edmonton advances to the next round. Again, Los Angeles had a better record in the regular season. It's one of the upsets. And Los Angeles was leading 2 games to 0, and the Edmonton Oilers, with the leadership of Connor McDavid, came back roaring 4 games into the win column, and they beat them 4 games to 2. So in 6 games. Other games, Vegas wins in 6 games over Minnesota. Carolina Hurricanes beat New Jersey 4 games to 1. Dallas Stars beat Colorado in 7. And Florida beat Tampa, and Tampa had the better record. And Florida beat Tampa in 5 games. And Florida is playing the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight in their game 2, where the Maple Leafs won game 1 a couple of days ago. Now, in terms of predictions, Gary, because you always ask me, Eddie, what do you think, and who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? I've had this theory I go with all the time, and I've been right more often than not. And my dad always asks me, who is going to win the Stanley Cup? And I always tell him, Dad, the team that has the most Canadian-born players on their rosters. That's who's going to win. So, Gary, I took the liberty of doing some research today on the statistics on the NHL, on NHL.com. So, of the teams remaining, Oilers, Jets, Leafs, Hurricanes, Panthers, Stars, Knights, and Washington Capitals, which team do you think has the most Canadian players percentage-wise on their entire rosters?
Oh, gosh.
Joe, you're a hockey fan. Who do you think, if you're still there?
Yeah. Oh, golly. Wow, that's a good question. I don't know.
Roll it off your tongue, quick. First thing comes to mind. Team with the most Canadian players.
Winnipeg.
No, you're close. The Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
65% of their roster, 21 players on their overall roster, are Canadian-born players. So they have 69.6%. Last year, they were at about 53%. So they upped it in terms of big boys. And when the big boys come to play, you bring them on your team. And that's what the Edmonton Oilers did. So I'm going to have to pick them for the Stanley Cup this year. In second place are the Winnipeg Jets. They have 52.9% of their entire roster Canadian-born players. And the next team, the next team behind them at 53% are the Las Vegas Knights.
Really?
Yep. And then a big drop to 44%, the Carolina Hurricanes in terms of players that are born in Canada. Last year, the Florida Panthers were at about 52% in terms of Canadians on the roster, and then the rest was a mix of American and European players. So, you know what? I'm going to go with statistics. I'm going to put my money on the Edmonton Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets. Either of those are going to win the Stanley Cup. Now they may end up playing the Leafs. You never know, because it's the Campbell Conference against the Prince of Wales Conference. The Leafs are at 46% of players being Canadian-born. And that 37% US-born players. So you know what? It's going to be a tough battle. I checked the weight and height of all these teams. They're giving away maybe 5 pounds one way or the other. So these are the big boys playing hockey right now. So you know what? I really wish this is going to be a great opportunity for Canada to actually bring a Stanley Cup home, because we got 3 solid teams in there in the Leafs, the Oilers, and the Jets. So I hope the boys bring it home.
Joe just chimed in. Edmonton's goaltending may be their Achilles heel.
He is not wrong. Yeah. So American Hellebuck, who's the goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets, he's been struggling a little bit, but his game in period 2, period 3, and overtime was just standing on his head. So hopefully they can turn it around, and the Canadian team can bring the cup home. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, and he says, I just hope we can bring the cup home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I remind a lot of my my contacts on social media on Facebook that are my American friends are always reminding me USA, USA every time a cup ends up in United States City. But more often than not, the majority of the players are from dear old Canada. Go Canadians!
We still have it. And Joe also, by the way, earlier said he'll be waiting for the moose head.
Oh yeah, okay.
And with that, it is time to whistle down the conversation for this week, whether it's backroom deals, provincial provocations, or sudden death overtime. We're keeping score across the board. Thanks to everyone for joining the conversation tonight. And let's keep it going below if you are watching at a later date. Also, don't forget to like, share, and definitely subscribe. Night Talk returns in 7 days. I'm Gary MacDonald. Good night. Good night, Eddie.
Good night, Gary. Good night.